Princess Anne has finally told everyone how she really feels about the person she dislikes the most. This queen, who is now 73 years old, is known for being honest and outspoken, has finally revealed the name of someone she has been angry at for a long time. What's the story behind her great dislike? Please stay with us as we talk more about this interesting discovery and look more closely at what makes Princess Anne such a unique member of the royal family. Princess Anne was born in London on August 15, 1950, at Clarence House. The Queen and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, only have one daughter. At the time of her birth, she was third in line to the British throne, after her mother and her older brother Charles, who became King Charles III. When her grandfather died in 1952 and her mother became queen, she moved up to second place in line. Anne was different from her brothers because she had a strong sense of duty from the start. Anne didn't seem as interested in being the center of attention as her older brother Charles and younger brother Andrew. Instead, she seemed more focused on her royal duties. This early dedication paved the way for her lifelong devotion to public service. She went to Benenden School and did very well there, graduating in 1968. At just 18, she started her royal tasks. Her title, Princess Royal, was given to her in 1987. It is an honor she will always have. Even though she came from a wealthy family, Princess Anne has always kept her attention on her royal tasks. She has worked hard and been loyal to both the crown and her country. Her approach to royal life is very down to earth, especially when you compare it to the normal glitz and glamour of being a royal. She is famous for saying that what you wear doesn't matter as much as how you live your life. This message that deeds, not looks, are more important hits home with both the public and the royal family. Anne has more official duties than any other royal, over 500 a year, which means she's at more than one event every day. Unfortunately, her schedule is notoriously tight. She has a lot on her schedule, from visiting charities to opening new buildings and speaking for the Queen at different state events. Even though things are moving quickly, she stays focused on her work and doesn't try to be the center of attention. In 1969, when she was 18, she opened an educational center in Shropshire and made her first public performance. Since then, her dedication has never wavered. She supports over 200 groups around the world and is a familiar face at many royal events, which shows that she's not just there, she's involved. For example, she works directly with Save the Children in some of the world's most dangerous places. She is also very good at diplomacy. In fact, she was considered for a Nobel Peace Prize in 1990 for her work with Save the Children, which shows how important she is outside of the royal scene. People all over the world admire Princess Anne for her commitment to helping children in need. This shows that deeds speak louder than words. She talked about her love for people in a BBC interview. She uses this love in her work with kids from poor families, truly showing love in action. Princess Anne is different from the rest of the royal family because she is sharp-witted and funny, which adds a nice touch of personality to her public performances. People like her because she is friendly and easy to relate to, but sometimes there is royal drama that even she has to deal with. That being said, how does Princess Anne stay true to herself in the sometimes rough world of the royal family? Let's talk about how she stays honest when her family are involved in messy situations. People have always been interested in how the public sees controversial royal figures. Every move a royal makes is closely watched, from tabloid stories to social media arguments. Have you ever thought about why some royals seem to cause more trouble than others? You might be surprised by one reason. People's decisions, how the media portrays them, and societal expectations all play a role in how much attention the British royal family gets. Even though they are royal and have names, many royals have been criticized and caused trouble in the public eye. Scandals, divorces, and saying things that people don't like can all change how people see them. Princess Anne has been especially strong in balancing her personal life with her role in this important organization. In 1974, when she was only 23, Princess Anne was on her way home from a charity event with her first husband, Captain Mark Phillips, when she was the target of a dramatic murder attempt. Ian Bull, who was carrying a gun, snuck up on them in their car. Bull killed Anne's driver, Jim Beaton, the security guard, and a brave reporter who was trying to help. He planned to take Anne hostage and demand a £2 million ransom. In an amazing show of calm under pressure, Anne famously told Bull, "Not bloody likely." This showed that she could handle the high pressures of royal life while strongly protecting her family, especially her nephews, Princes William and Harry. Because she loves her family so much, it's interesting to think about what she thinks about her brothers' marriages, especially the one between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. When we talk about Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, she looks pretty cool. Before she married Prince Harry, Meghan was famous for her part on the hit TV show Suits and the good things she did for other people. People saw her relationship with Harry as a modern fairy tale. It went against royal custom and was seen as a sign of diversity and acceptance because she was the first woman of mixed race to join the British royal family. But this fairy tale had its fair share of royal problems. The fight between Meghan and her in-laws was the main public issue. In the end, Harry and Meghan had to step down from their top royal jobs in early 2020. It was called Megxit by the media, and it caused a lot of discussion about the future of the kingdom. When Meghan and Harry said they were getting married, Meghan was excited to start her new royal tasks. She was excited to stop playing and focus on getting involved in the UK, making friends in different groups, and helping a wide range of causes. In an interview with ABC, Meghan talked about how excited she was to get involved, meet people from different backgrounds, and learn more about smaller groups. She told him that she had never looked up much about Harry before they started dating because she believed everything he said. Even though Meghan was American and had grown up with fairy tale ideas of royalty, she didn't make their relationship seem sweet. The truth hit her hard, especially since she had to live up to royal standards. Meghan was glad she hadn't done a lot of study on the royal family because she knew it would have made her too nervous. Princess Anne had doubts about Meghan from the start. TV host Deborah Davies says that Anne, like her father, Prince Philip, saw through Meghan's charm and was doubtful. This was clear at social events, like Harry and Meghan's wedding, where Anne's face showed that she had doubts. Even though Meghan was popular at first, her American culture and acting career were very different from royal customs. This, along with gossip and tabloid stories that made her look like a troublemaker, made people look at her more closely. During Prince Philip's wake in April 2021, Anne's pain was also clear. Meghan couldn't go because she was pregnant with her daughter Lilibet. The royal family was said to be glad not to have to deal with what they saw as a possible media circus. The media's interest in Meghan Markle grew even stronger after she told Oprah Winfrey in an open and honest conversation that she had been mistreated and faced racism. Meghan talked about how she felt alone and unsupported by the royal family. She also talked about upsetting talks that happened about the color of her son's skin. people all over the world started talking about race, mental health, and the problems that the royal family doesn't talk about. It looks like Princess Anne was right when she first had doubts about Meghan's long-term fit in the royal family. Neil Sean, a royal commentator, said that Anne told Meghan to see her life as a princess as a job, not a way to get attention. Meghan was surprised by Anne's advice. This advice made it clear that being a king means committing yourself full-time, getting ready, and doing charity work. Lady Colin Campbell agreed with Anne that Meghan wasn't committed. She said that Anne had told Harry not to marry Meghan because she thought she was too self-centered and bad character. This adds another level to the complicated story of the royal family. Once the Queen died, Harry, Meghan, William, and Catherine got together for a short but tense time in September 2022 to meet the public outside of Windsor Castle. Body language experts saw a lot of tension between the pairs, even though it looked like a show of unity. Since Harry and Meghan's chat with Oprah, there has been a lot of talk about how complicated their relationships are with other royal family members, like Princess Anne. Meghan Markle's time in the British royal family has not been easy. Her story continues to spark discussions about custom, identity, and how the monarchy should change with the times. But Princess Anne didn't just have a bad relationship with Meghan, she also had a bad relationship with Princess Diana. Princess Anne, who is very serious, and Princess Diana, who was liked by many and was often called the People's Princess, were at odds with each other because they had very different personalities and ways of living royal life. Diana was loved by many for being kind, caring, and easy to talk to. When she married Prince Charles in 1981, she became famous all over the world. As charming as she was, she worked hard for social causes like stopping landmines and spreading information about HIV/AIDS. Diana was a well-liked humanitarian because of the things she did. She became close with people from all walks of life and became a more approachable royal figure. But Diana's friendship with Princess Anne was anything but smooth, even though she was very popular. The two had very different styles. Diana was known for her fancy clothes and ability to get media attention, while Anne was more quiet, traditional, and focused on her duties. Anne didn't always like Diana's daring dress choices or her ability to get media attention. She thought the media frenzy around Diana was inappropriate for a princess. Diana was good at using the media to draw attention to her charitable work, which made Anne uncomfortable. Anne liked the monarchy's more traditional and detached approach to the public and didn't like what she saw as Diana's attempts to promote herself. A lot of people said that Princess Anne and Princess Diana were fighting, and a lot of them said that Anne had a hard time understanding Diana's modern view of royal tasks. This situation got even more confusing when Diana had a baby. People thought that Anne would be the aunt of Prince William, Diana's first child. But Diana had other plans. King Charles liked the idea of Anne being Diana's godmother, but Diana chose not to have her. After 2 years, when Prince Harry was born, Anne was not chosen as the godfather. Instead, Prince Andrew was picked. Diana is said to have picked a male godparent for Harry, which makes their connection even more complicated. When it came to her royal tasks, Anne, who was often called the hardest-working royal, was seen in public a lot more than Diana did in the 1980s. Still, the media kept their attention on Diana. While Anne was on a royal tour of the US, Diana was about to give birth to Prince William, and everyone in the country was waiting for the news. The press kept asking Anne about how she felt about being overwhelmed by Diana. A reporter told Anne that William was born on June 23rd, 1982. Anne's response was a simple, "Oh good," which the media used to make her look like a sour puss. Diana tried to put an end to rumors of a fight in an interview in 1985. She praised Anne's hard work for the Save the Children Fund and said that reports of a fight were fairy tales. Diana even said she was sorry she missed the naming of Prince Harry. After Diana's sad death in 1997, Anne was said to be very upset and said she felt bad that she didn't fully understand how hard it was for Diana to be a princess. Some people, like Sheree Blair, thought it was more of a personality clash than a true feud. Sheree Blair is married to former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. Her life has had many important public and private events. Sheree Boo was born in 1954 and went on to have a successful career in human rights law. She earned a degree from the London School of Economics and the honorary title of Queen's Counsel. She became well known in British law circles as a supporter of social justice. When she married Tony Blair in 1980, she became famous in politics. From 1997 to 2007, she was First Lady of the United Kingdom. Sheree had a hard time with this job because people had different opinions about her because she was outspoken and willing to get involved in politics, which went against what most people expect from the spouse of the Prime Minister. Sheree's rocky relationship with Princess Anne is an interesting part of her public life. It shows how British politicians and the royal family interact with each other. The way they acted when they met for the first time at Balmoral in 1997 was tense. In her autobiography, Sheree writes that their first meeting was awkward. If Sheree asked Princess Anne to call her Sheree instead of Mrs. Blair, Anne said, "I'd rather not. That's not how I've been raised." Sheree's answer, "What a shame," showed how different their beliefs and personalities were. Things got worse between them over time. The problem got worse when the Blairs went on an unplanned walkabout during the Queen's Golden Jubilee celebrations in 2002. When Sheree tried to say hello to Princess Anne, she was turned away and said she felt completely blanked. Sheree also had a hard time with royal customs, especially when she went to Balmoral Castle. She didn't like the cold, drafty rooms, the early morning piping wake-up calls, or the rule that she couldn't wear pants. The Queen Mother was allegedly shocked when Sheree wore pants to lunch on her first visit, which is a notable event. It was awkward for Sheree Blair when she was with Princess Margaret, who is the Queen's sister and is known for being very smart. In a strange turn of events, Sheree also embarrassed Princess Margaret, which may have made Princess Anne doubt Sheree's diplomatic skills and goals. It wasn't just these events that made Princess Anne and Sheree fight. It also showed how Sheree felt about the royal family and following the rules in general. Sheree's open dislike of other royals and her sometimes controversial words about them probably made things worse. The cold personality of Princess Anne was also felt by Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. Sarah Ferguson, whose real name is Sarah Margaret Ferguson, and was born on October 15, 1959, is known for being a unique member of the British royal family. Fergie is an author, philanthropist, and TV star. Her family tree goes back to King Charles II of England through 3 of his children from other relationships. The public became more aware of her when she married Prince Andrew, who is Queen Elizabeth II's second son and King Charles III's younger brother. After Andrew and Sarah Ferguson got married in 1986, the Queen made Andrew Duke of York. This made Sarah Ferguson, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of York. They had 2 girls together, and their names were Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Ferguson has always been different from the more quiet members of the royal family because she is lively and spontaneous. People quickly liked her because she was funny and easy to talk to, but her lively personality didn't always fit with the strict rules and standards of royal life. Princess Anne, who was known for being firm and practical, was a good contrast to Sarah Ferguson's free-spirited personality. There was a lot of friction between them, especially in the first few years of Ferguson's marriage to Prince Andrew. Anne's honest and direct style often didn't get along with Ferguson's more laid-back and casual style. This led to a lot of stories of fights and cold interactions, which made people wonder about their relationship. Steve Wood, a royal photographer who spent a lot of time with the British royal family, said that Princess Anne often felt like Ferguson's media-savvy character took the spotlight away from her. Anne was clearly upset. She once said, "Even though I work hard every day, I never make the news, and no one recognizes my efforts." Ferguson's way of dealing with public attention made the difference between him and Anne even bigger. However, Anne kept a quiet and private personality, while Ferguson was often in the news, and it was usually for bad reasons. The problems she was having with the press, money, and shady business deals made things worse between them. Anne's commitment to protecting the monarchy's honor was very different from Ferguson's public and sometimes controversial image. Sarah Ferguson also had problems in her marriage to Prince Andrew, which made things even more difficult between her and Anne. At first, the couple was seen as happy and lively, but Ferguson later said that during the first 5 years of their marriage, they only spent about 40 days a year together. By 1991, their relationship was tense, and Ferguson's friendship with Texan billionaire Steve Wyatt got a lot of attention from the media. Pictures of Wyatt and Ferguson's young daughter were all over the news. The Duke and Duchess of York announced their separation in January 1992. On March 19, 1992, it was made legal. The palace said that Ferguson would no longer represent the Queen at public events after the split, and the Queen made it clear that she would not pay Ferguson's bills. Ferguson then moved to Render Lodge on the Wentworth estate in Surrey, where she set up a different home from her husband, whom she had been living with before they split up. In August 1992, the Daily Mirror published compromising pictures of Ferguson with American financial manager John Bryan. This caused a major scandal that made her relationship with the royal family even worse. These pictures, which made people make fun of Ferguson, did a lot of damage to his character. The French magazine Paris Match had to pay $84,000 in damages for releasing the photos, but Ferguson's reputation with the royal family was badly hurt. Even though there were rumors that they might get back together with Prince Andrew, they officially split up in March 1993. Princess Margaret, who is aunt to Prince Andrew, even wrote Ferguson a letter telling her she didn't like her and that she had made the family look worse than she thought she would. By April 1996, Ferguson and Andrew had decided to get a divorce, ending their troubled marriage for good. Ferguson had trouble with money after the split. At first, she said she would get $115,000 a year as part of the deal, but it turned out she got $350,000 in cash, $500,000 from the Queen to buy a house for herself and the kids, and a monthly allowance that had grown to about $500,000 by 2010. Ferguson and Prince Andrew have lived together in a close and unusual way for over 30 years. Even though they are no longer married, they often show up at family events together, which has led to a lot of talk about how their relationship is going now that they are divorced. Their continued living together after they got divorced is very interesting, especially considering the problems and public attention that surrounded their marriage. Ferguson worked hard to change how people saw her after she and her ex-boyfriend broke up by doing charity work, writing, and speaking in public. She worked on becoming her own person while still staying connected to the royal family. But did you think Princess Anne only had problems with other royals? You might be surprised by this other story. During a NATO summit gathering at Buckingham Palace in December 2019, Princess Anne had a moment that she will never forget. Celebrating NATO's 70th anniversary, the event was well known, with leaders like Donald Trump and Melania Trump in attendance. During the official events, Princess Anne had a funny conversation that got everyone's attention. Anne stood not far away while her mother, Queen Elizabeth II, greeted the Trump family. The Queen gave Anne a quick look that seemed to tell her to join the line. Anne responded with a shrug, a smile, and a quick movement toward the other important people, as if to say, "It's just me." Many people saw Anne's shrug as a subtle criticism of the event's formality, or even a comment on Trump himself. This act of resistance and humor quickly went viral. Anne's apparent lack of concern became a huge deal on the internet, with memes and comments making her seem like an approachable person who wasn't afraid to break the rules. However, the video's explanation was a little off. According to Laura Stone of the Press Association, the Queen had turned to Anne to see who was next in line after Trump, since he was the last person in line to meet her. It sounds like Princess Anne's remark at the NATO summit was taken the wrong way and was just a funny moment, not a political statement or an insult. Her honest and direct tone can be taken the wrong way sometimes, especially in tense situations. You correctly pointed out that Anne is known for being polite and impartial, which makes the wrong reading of her action very upsetting for her. Now, moving on to the moment with Camilla, the Queen Consort, is very interesting. Their friendship has changed a lot over the years, with personal and royal issues getting in the way. The past relationship between Andrew Parker Bowles and Anne caused tension between her and Camilla at first. In earlier years, Anne's response to Camilla's role as Queen Consort, including the rumored comment made during a coronation meal, showed how difficult it was for them to get along. But the fact that their relationship has gotten better as Camilla has taken on more responsibilities with King Charles says that they are slowly learning to respect each other. The relationships within the royal family are often complicated and shaped by each person's personal past, as well as the changing roles they play in the monarchy. These changes are especially interesting because of how personal and public roles interact in the royal family. It shows how historical background, personal connections, and public opinion all play a part in the complicated web of royal life. Princess Anne and Camilla Parker Bowles' friendship is one of the more complicated and interesting ones in the royal family. In the 1970s, Andrew Parker Bowles was involved in a love triangle with Anne, Camilla, and Andrew. This created personal and emotional problems that would affect how they interacted with each other for years to come. When Anne became interested in Andrew Parker Bowles early on, and then saw him marry Camilla, her emotional feelings and her public roles came together. This made things more tense when Camilla married Prince Charles, Anne's brother, and became the Duchess of Cornwall. Anne is said to have said that Camilla would never be seen as the real queen during a coronation meal. This shows that their relationship has deep-seated problems and issues. These kinds of events show how personal histories and royal tasks can sometimes clash, which can change how family members interact with each other. As Camilla became Queen Consort, however, their relationship slowly got better. This shows how their relationship changed over time. Their relationship has grown up as a result of Anne's final acceptance and the drop in public fights. This is in line with the larger changes and adjustments that happen a lot in the royal family. Anne and Camilla's changing relationship shows how royal relationships can change over time, due to both personal growth and changes in the monarchy's roles. This development shows how flexible and strong you need to be to survive in the complicated world of royal life.